I'm gonna bring up a guy. The first guy we're gonna have is a former Terp baller. Today is the Terp basketball edition. As many of you guys know, I come to as many basketball games as I can possibly come to when I'm allowed and when I can. I've had a chance to watch this guy. He was born in Angola, made his mark on the national team there, and then moved over to this country for high school and started out at Mount Verde, finished up at the IMG Academy down in Sarasota. Was a first team All Big Ten player for us in 2019, made the All Defensive team in 2019, freshman team in 2018, and was the 34th pick. Let's bring on my guy, Bruno Fernando. Really excited to talk to Bruno, man. Bruno, what's up, big man?
What's up, Coach? What's up?
What's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. You see how I just switched over from Coach Locks to now I'm some type of talk show host now, man.
Yeah, I feel you, man. We got to do what we got to do, man.
No doubt. Keep busy, man. Well, I'm excited to have you on, man, because I've had a chance, when I came back a year ago, I can remember coming and seeing you guys play and ran into y'all when you were doing your team meals over at the College Park Grill a couple times. Don't tell Coach Turge I tried to get you to come play tight end. But what's going on, man? How's the quarantine been treating you, big fella?
Not much, man. It's been great, man. I've just been trying to stay productive, stay active, staying home as much as I can, try to avoid anything else outside. And man, it is what it is. Like I said, I've just been trying to stay productive and make a positive situation out of this negative situation we're in. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great thing. I mean, you've always, one of the first things that jumps out to me as a coach when I watch you on the court, I watch your interaction, it's just the energy you bring, man. And to me, there's nothing more than just great positive energy from a player. And that's why I like sitting courtside, because you really get to see it and understand just the type of energy you bring, man. And I think that to me is what really jumps out. What about what's going on in your life right now? How are you staying in shape during this quarantine? Are you in-home workouts? Do you got a little gym you can get into? What are you doing from that standpoint?
It's a crazy time, obviously. We hope to get access back to the press facility soon, but I've been just trying to work out from home as much as I can. I got some like weight room stuff that I went and get in the facility, and I've been using at home. I go outside to the park, and I've been doing hill workouts and all that type of stuff. I got a whole program that our strength conditioning coach made for each and every one of us that I've been just trying to following as much as I can. So it's been fun, though. I think it's helping me a lot. I'm able to stay in shape a little bit by doing those things. So I just got to continue to do it until we get back, man.
Right. Well, I keep hearing these whispers, man. We have a lot of head coaches phone calls each week to talk about this thing possibly opening up. And I know that the NBA has really ramped up kind of their conversations about maybe resuming play. What are you hearing? I mean, I know what I'm hearing from our end, but are you hearing anything about the possibility of resuming play with the NBA?
I feel like for us as players, we're hearing about as much as everybody sees on social media. It's just a whole lot of speculation of maybe getting back, maybe not. We just still got to see through what the situation plays out to be in a couple weeks or a month from now or something like that. But hopefully we get back to playing, which is what everybody wants. But if not, then we're just going to try to use this time to continue to work on our games and just do everything we can to stay ready for next season. But yeah, we've been hearing as much as everybody else been hearing. I think up to this point, what we know is just that we're trying to get the press facilities back open. That's about it.
Got it. Now, I said in your bio when I read there, I mean, you came over to this country right before high school for the most part.
Yeah.
Moved over to this country, went to high school over here to better yourself from a basketball standpoint. Talk a little bit about that transition and even why you made the transition. That's a hell of a sacrifice to move away from family, friends, over to a country that you've never been to before. And talk a little bit about how that transition went for you. Obviously, it's paid off.
For sure.
But the initial move has got to have been pretty scary for a guy going into high school.
Yeah, it's definitely paid off, like you said. And I think the biggest thing was something that I feel like every African kid thinks of is playing basketball high level in a better place, which that place is the United States. And for me, my parents was a no-brainer. we didn't even think about it twice, man. That was the opportunity that we've been wanting for our lives. And once he came, we just took it. And I'm just glad it played out the way he did. I came here, went to high school, and ended up going to the best school in America, in Maryland, and did what I did. And now I'm in a position to be able to do more for not just my family, but a lot of other people at home that maybe want to come to the States and play basketball as well.
The best school in America and the most powerful area in America.
For sure.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I didn't realize until I read your bio that you started out at Montverde.
Yeah.
And I can remember in 2015, I was back here coaching as the offensive coordinator at Maryland. And I went to visit Montverde because they had a big offensive tackle, dude Bello.
Yeah, I know him.
Did you guys come in together? Because he also moved over on his own. I know Ricardo Dickerson, a former Terp football player, had brought Bello over. Did you? And he came over, had never played football before.
Yeah.
Did you guys cross paths?
I mean, we were friends in high school, and we talked a lot of Montverde. It was him and a couple of the dudes that came from Africa as well.
Right.
I didn't know exactly. I don't know exactly when he came, but I think he came right before me because I think
he was
here.
You guys would have crossed paths. He finished in 2015, so you were just coming over.
Yeah. So it was just, we just kind of met at Montverde and we just clicked. Obviously, we all from Africa, and we just try to have our own community on campus, and try to get together as much as we could. But it was fun to have those guys around for sure.
Right. Now you've always been one of the guys that waves the Terp flags like I do. You wave the Terp flag like no other. I used to think I was the biggest Terp homer wherever I coached, wherever I went. On Sunday, I opened up the paper. It didn't matter what school I was working for. I always checked the Blue Knights score from Friday, and I looked to see what my Terps did. You love Maryland. Talk a little bit about what it was like being a Terp for you, man, because I really enjoyed hearing just the passion you talk about when you talk about being a Terp and having been a Terp.
Yeah, I love Maryland. I don't think that is ever going to be a question about that. I love Maryland with all my heart. Maryland's done a lot for me and my family. Maryland changed my life, man, and I can never, ever pay them back for what they did. But, man, just going to Maryland, it gave me a whole different perspective about life in general. The fans, the coaches, my teammates, the guys around campus, the football players, and we all got to be friends, all the sports and everything, man, just to have all that. And obviously a kid like me growing up in Angola, I never really seen an environment like that before, or being in that type of place where it's like you go to school here, you live here, you practice here, like it's everything in one spot. So that made it a lot better for me, and my experience was the best it could ever be. Man, if I could have done it for 100 years in Maryland, I would have done it, Coach. That is no question about that.
Well, that's great to hear.
You know
I'll tell you one way I do know you can pay Maryland back. I know there's been a lot of talk about the new basketball practice performance center, and I know that's something that Coach Turge and Brenda want. And if you ever do want to pay that, if you want to give something back, help them build that facility, man.
For sure. I used to, when I was there, I used to tell them every time. I used to play with Coach Turge and tell them when I get to the NBA and hopefully I get to my second, third, and somewhat contracts, I'm gonna come back and build the Bruno Fernando gym facility right there. It's gonna be a choices we make facility, weight room.
Giving back, man. That's what it's all about. And
yes, sir.
You hear players like you, and I talked to Stephon Diggs on here earlier. He talked about endowing a scholarship in his dad's name, just to hear the passion and understand that what the platform that the University of Maryland gave you guys, and to hear that you're willing to give back. I know as a coach, it means a lot to me because you realize the importance of it, man. And
yes, sir.
like I said, you're one of the guys that if I want to think of a guy that attended Maryland that will go anywhere in the country and wave the Maryland flag, you're one of the first guys that come to my mind, man, because just the energy and passion you've always shown.
Yes, sir.
You hit this a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about the transition going from Maryland to the NBA. I know you missed some time this year. You had a G League assignment. You lost your mom, obviously, during that time, and condolences to you and your family. Talk a little bit about what that transition was like, and it had to be obviously tough, losing your mom during the transition, but also what it was like going from being a college player to an NBA player.
Yeah, it was a tough transition. that's probably the craziest times I've ever lived as a human being. But man, I don't even like talking about this, but it is what it is. But yeah, my transition from Maryland to the pros I was, if I could say, it was everything I expected it to be. You know, it was filled up good and bad moments, up and downs, and going to the G League for a couple games and coming back, and some nights playing a lot, some nights not even playing, some nights not knowing how much I'm going to play, which is all part of the process that I just got to be ready to adjust to it and continue to work and grind, and just understanding that Rome wasn't built in a day. So for me to just kind of think of it that way helps me a lot to just stay positive and continue to grind and try to better myself to stay ready whenever the opportunity presents itself. And like you said, you know, throughout the road, I've faced so many bumps, and I think I took the hardest hit life could ever give to me.
Right.
And that was just losing my mom. That was the time when I felt like I lost it all. Personally, I just every type of motivation I lost at that moment right there, and just for me to even think of it and try to talk about it right now, I don't even like doing this, just because I try to just keep my mind away from it as much as I can, because I just think too much. And me living by myself and being here in the NBA, being such a lonely life, sometimes you don't get many moments where you can really take your head away from it.
Right.
But yeah, that was it's been a crazy year, crazy transition. I'm trying to adapt to life the way it is. I got my pups, got my brothers and my sister with me, and I'm just trying to continue to make life better for them and fun as much as I can. Because one thing I did realize is life is made of memories, and not all the other things that don't really matter. Because right now, all I have from my mom is memories.
Right.
So,
well, that's awesome to hear, man. And you're approaching this thing the right way. I do know you understand. You got that Terp community behind you. I know Coach Sturge and Coach Bino and all those guys, man, have always had your back, and they're like family as well. And
yes, sir.
You got Terp Nation behind you, man, because of
Always. What
you did here, the energy you brought. Really, really, like I said, I enjoyed watching you play, man.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Before I let you go, a couple other things, man. You're the first Angolan drafted into the NBA.
Yeah.
What a milestone! What a milestone, and something, you know. When you go back over there, I mean, they've got to just really, really love the fact that you're the first. And what's that like?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, it's an amazing accomplishment for me. I would definitely say that it's something that I wanted to do it personally. I wanted to get to the NBA. I wasn't sure if I was going to be the first Angolan or not. Whatever it was, it didn't really matter as long as I got to that dream of mine. But just to be that first guy that opens the door for everybody else kind of means a lot to me. It's an honor for me to represent Angola at this level and just, you know, bring the flag in the name of the country as far as I can. And I'm sure it made it easier for a lot of the kids back home to dream about being in the NBA one day, because now they seen somebody who came from the exact same place as them being able to accomplish that dream and that goal. So I'm extremely, extremely happy for it. It's a gratifying feeling for sure, and I'm gonna just continue to work and take the name up and beyond, man.
Well, you've done that, man, and you've made a lot of people proud. Like I said, I know the basketball family there, Terp Nation. You made everybody proud, man. And when we come out of this pandemic, man, you'll be a better person. Because I know you're working your tail off. You're doing all the little things. That's what makes you the type of player that you've been. I appreciate you coming on, man. It's great catching up with you. Again, when you get back up here to College Park, please don't hesitate to stop over and come see me.
I got you.
Thank you enough, man. Be safe. Be safe down there. You're in Atlanta, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in Atlanta. Yeah.
Be safe, and tell Alex Lynn we said what's up. I may have to get him on here next.
I got you. I'm going to tell him and Kev that.
All right. Great talking to you. Bruno Fernando.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Great to have him here on the show. Another great Terp, a guy that, again, if you've ever been to a Terp basketball game while he was here, you guys understand the passion, the energy that this guy brought to the table. And, you know, the transition from college to pros is always tough for everybody, because there is a transition. But I can only tell you, and you know, obviously he dealt with some tragedy, the unknown of when he was playing, as he talked about. But one thing I do know, that he'll bring the right kind of energy and the right type of mentality, and he'll work through it. You know, as we wait for our next guest, man, we'll take a few more of these questions. You know, one of the things that pops up says, name your top memory as a Terp. And I've told this story many times, man. I can remember being in the locker room in 2001. We were getting ready to play Clemson. And at home, a night game. We were off and running really well. It was Ralph Friedgen's, Coach Friedgen's first year. And somehow, some way, we found out that Florida State had just lost to NC State right before we were going to take the field. And I can remember Coach Friedgen gathering the team up in the locker room and basically saying, hey, you know, Florida State just lost. We win this game, we at least have a tie for the ACC championship. You know, let's go out there and let's kick these guys' butts. Let's go take this victory, and we at least got a tie. And then the next week, we obviously played NC State, won that game, which we outright won it. But the thing that I remember most about this memory was I was in the press box with Charlie Taft at the time, and you know, as you guys know, when we come out of the locker room and you have to walk up the side of the stairs there to get to the press box. And I remember getting up to the top of the press box and looking out, and it was the first time I saw Maryland Stadium, Bird Stadium, whatever you want to call it at that time. Every seat in the house was packed, and it was an electric environment. And it was to me, I just remember taking it in before the kickoff and looking across and seeing the upper deck, every seat in the house completely packed, and it was all Maryland fans, Maryland people. We went out and won the game in great fashion and ended up winning the ACC championship the next week on the road. So for me, that had to be one of the best memories I had as a Terp. And also, you know, there's a lot of other games I've been in, but to me, that's the one that really jumps out. You know, I got asked the question, how has recruiting been affected by the COVID crisis? And obviously, you know, with recruiting, the big piece for us is being able to get people on campus. I say this all the time, that recruiting is a people business. And, you know, a lot of people, when you recruit, they make it about what I call fluff, bricks and mortar, buildings, stadium sizes, and all that. But what I've found over the years that is recruiting is about people and relationships. And so one of the things that I pride myself, and one of the things that every coach on my staff understands, is we need to build really strong and meaningful relationships, not just with the guys we're recruiting, but also with our team, because our players are our best allies when it comes to recruiting. And if the guys in your program are enjoying playing in your program, they're going to be great ambassadors for you when kids come on campus. So recruiting is going great for us right now. Obviously, we can't talk about it, but we're off to a good start, kind of right on track as to what we thought. We kind of targeted this 21 recruiting class as really our first full class, because we have an opportunity to recruit these guys for what will be about 2 years completely. And I know we struggled coming in last year in January with keeping some of the local players, but I really think the vision that we're selling, the relationships we've built, and because of COVID, man, we can't get them on campus. That's made it hard, but we've done a lot of things before COVID, pre-COVID-19, as well as now on the phones of FaceTime and Zoom. We're doing everything we can to stay relevant here locally. And if we do that, we continue to do that, we'll wind up with a great recruiting class that will end up being the foundation for our return to success as a program. So let's keep the show going, man. The next guy I want to bring on is one of my all-time favorites. And I say this a lot about everybody because I love all these guys. And as I told you, I'm a huge basketball fan. And I watched this guy a long time. He's a 3-time All-Big Ten selection. He was a nominee for the Wooden Award, which is the National Player of the Year award. Was first team All-Big Ten. Made the all-defensive team. A guy that started every game from the time he stepped on campus. Has kept the tradition of a long line of great point guards that have come through the Maryland Terrapin basketball program and kept that tradition going and carried that torch really nice. Let's bring on one of my favorite Terps, with my man Anthony Cowan, man. Great to have Ant on. Excited about having him tonight. Again, another great Terp, a guy that I've said I got myself in a little trouble.
Big dog.
Ant, what's up, man?
What's up with it, big dog?
You tell me, what's going on?
Not much, man. Trying to stay productive, trying to do whatever I can to get over this time, but chilling, dog. What's up with you?
Hopefully you staying safe and not roaming the streets, right?
Nah, not at all. You see where I'm at. I'm at the crib getting a little backyard bumping. You know how that go.
Yeah. Love it. I was getting ready to tell the story how I created a little discussion because every time you're a football guy. You used to come watch practice. I know you and Ant McFarland are really close, and you played a little football growing up. And I always used to say, man, you would make one hell of a corner.
Nah, for sure.
And it's created some discussion because I know some of your basketball guys got pissed because I was like, I know he could play corner at this level. So, and I've had a lot of people. I read all the comments that they made. You was going back and forth. I still feel like you would be one hell of a cover corner. Now, I don't know if you would put your face on somebody. I do know you're tough, and I don't question your toughness, but it's a little. It's called making choices when a 240-pound running back running at you. You got to make a decision. And I don't doubt your toughness because you got that DMV. You got that DMV DNA, so I know you ain't afraid, man. What's been going on? Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing during the quarantine.
Yeah, just trying to stay productive, like I said. Working out, obviously. I'm just trying to get in a little routine, just to make sure I'm staying where I need to be. Just never knowing what's going to happen. And then I'm also starting my podcast. Getting that off the ground, trying to get some stuff going with that. I think we got good ideas, some really good guests. So just trying to get that all together.
Got it. Now, you played football growing up a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Did you play football? Who did you play youth football for?
I played for Bowie Bulldogs. I don't know. You probably heard of them. Bowie Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
Yeah. I played Atlanta Raiders.
What positions did you play?
I was an athlete.
What positions did you play?
I was an athlete. I was put all around the field.
Wide receiver.
All around the field. Whatever they need.
Quarterback.
Yeah, a little bit of quarterback, a little bit of running back, a little bit of everything.
Got you now. So obviously the NBA, we just had your boy Bruno on, man. I had Bruno on right before you came on.
Yeah, I saw.
And I know you guys spent a lot of time together. I've seen a lot of the alley-oops. Did you get a chance to see the alley-oop I caught on my court? My court out back?
Nah, whatever. I need to see that. I need to go back and look at that.
You need to go check it out. Don't let the belly fool you. I got a little point guard in there. Talk a little bit about the NBA draft process for you, and obviously with COVID-19 and everything is kind of on hold. What things are you doing to stay in shape, and what are you hearing about the NBA draft prospect?
Yeah, so just to try and stay in shape, just doing a lot of running. It's a hill like right down the street from my house. I'm getting a lot of hill work in, which is helping a lot. Doing the bike. Just trying to do everything I can. Just trying to switch it up. Don't try to get too bored with it. Just trying to stay in shape. And then just obviously getting my little skill work in. I got a little personal gym that I'm getting some workouts in too. But yeah, just like I said, just trying to find anything I can do. Yeah. Get shots up. Got this little gym in Gaithersburg. So yeah, definitely.
Got it.
Yeah, for sure.
What a run that you guys had, man. I was I know you guys were disappointed. I know a lot of our fans were really disappointed because what a run you guys had. You guys tied for the Big Ten championship, which means you won a Big Ten championship before you left here.
For sure.
And to have your season end the way it ended, I hated it for a guy like you, man, because you left your heart, your soul, your tears all out on that court, man. What was it like, and what were the emotions when you found out that the Big Ten tournament and then the NCAA tournament were going to be canceled? What type of emotions did you go through with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. I say this to people all the time. It was almost like the Kobe death. It just didn't feel real. It felt like it was no way that they could cancel something that was so big and that meant so much to so many people. But no, but on the other hand, I definitely understood. And I think this time definitely gave me the opportunity to just come in peace with a lot of things.
Got it. What would you have taken away? What did you take away from going through that experience? Because one of the things I say to our team is everything you do is training you or preparing you for something down the road. What
But
did you take from that, man? Because what I took from losing spring ball is the fact that we take it for granted, man, that it's
right,
going to be here all the time.
right, for
So
sure.
what did you take from not being able to go to the tournament, whether it's the Big Ten or the NCAA? What did you take away from it?
I'm taking just like you said. Just don't take stuff for granted. Nothing is given to you. I mean, stuff is earned, and that you just gotta understand that because we was just a couple before like they shut everything down. We was just practicing and just winning the Big Ten championship like a couple days before, thinking everything's straight, everything we gonna go out, we gonna give it all in our Big Ten tournament, then just have everything just cut off so quickly. It just shows that you just never know what's gonna happen. And you just gotta be prepared for it because life take crazy turns.
It does. It does. Man, you're one of the guys that was a local guy who stayed here at
Sure.
home, played and put on for the hometown team. I've been beating this drum for a long time, man. And I've been at Maryland and been a part of Maryland for 13 seasons, and
There you
I've
go.
seen the good, bad, and ugly of it. And I've been a part of those big wins on the football side. And when we did it with a lot of local, homegrown
Sure.
players. And for whatever reason, the basketball side, man, you guys have done a tremendous job of keeping players like you right here at home. And
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what it was like staying home, playing in front of your family, friends for the university that you grew up. I hope, did you grow up a Terp fan?
See, it was a little weird. I like Georgetown. I was
Okay.
always going to Georgetown camps. Obviously I went to St. John's. I like Chris Wright. I was a ball boy for Georgetown when I was younger. So I always had Georgetown in the back of my mind. I really didn't like Maryland.
Ah,
I was coming up. I was coming to games. This was when like Terrell Stroglin was the point guard.
mhm.
That team was going on. They was kind of struggling. And it just wasn't no fire. Just in the area. And then Melo came and he turned it around. He really did. He really put that light back on Maryland. And it really made me just see so many different things. And then when he started to do that, I had my vision, put my vision together, just come back and do something special. So nah, that was huge for me. But Melo definitely was a huge influence of that.
So Melo coming was the catalyst for turning you from a Georgetown guy to a Maryland guy. And
Yeah, I didn't really after when my recruiting process started to pick up. I really got away from Georgetown a little bit. But Melo was definitely one of the biggest influence for sure.
what was it like playing here at home and being able to have your family? And I mean, I always see your parents
Right.
in the stand. What was that like, man, and the experience of that?
Yeah, it just brought so much joy to our family. Just to go out and be able to experience um the whole thing with college game day. I mean, just playing basketball in College Park. I mean, something that they've done their whole lives and going to see all these top players play, to go actually see one of their own play, and be front row of it. It's huge for me and my family, and we always been appreciative of it.
I watched the little video they made of you, man, and I love the fact that you're one of these local guys that stayed here, and I'm doing all I can on the football side to keep it.
For sure.
I think we're starting to gain a little momentum, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I use basketball as an example, man, because when you do it right here at home and the network that you build and the power of the Maryland brand and the Maryland basketball brand that you guys
For
have,
sure.
from Stevie to Juan to you to Mello, all these great guys that have come through that were all really local guys, man. It's such a benefit. You benefited greatly from it, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. Just being that local guy and just building the relationships, like you said. It's crazy that I got Scott Van Pelt number and we texting like we just like everyday friends, like during the season, like all day. So it's crazy just the type of connections you build. So, but nah, for sure, it's definitely a blessing for sure.
All right, before I let you go, man, your favorite Terp moment. I just got finished talking about mine as I was buying some time for you to hop on. What's your favorite Terp moment?
Shoot. Ask me. I always tell them I can't pick one. I always try, but I got the two. That shot I had against Illinois, and then the three threes back at Michigan State. those my two moments I'll never forget.
Man, that Michigan State game, you were on fire. Yeah,
I
you had that
appreciate it.
Michael Jordan last dance
Yeah,
look in your eyes.
yeah, for
I had
sure.
a chance to watch that on TV, and it was
Yeah,
you finished that thing the right way, man.
I had
Well,
to.
look, I appreciate you taking time out your schedule, man.
For sure.
Tell your parents and everybody I said hello. You know you're always welcome to practice.
For sure.
You
For
know,
sure. I'm gonna get in some 7-on-7 drills. Now what? I'm serious.
7-on-7 is probably where you should stay because when we start going
Oh yeah,
11
nah.
on
Y'all
11.
got the pass. Y'all got the pass. I don't need the pass. I ain't doing
Good
the pass.
talking to you, Ant. Come back
Always.
and see us, man. You made us all proud as a Terp.
For sure.
The job you did, the 4 years here, man, the leadership
Sure.
you've shown, you leave here as one of those guys that really are the epitome of what being a Terp's all about, and we can't thank you enough. Be safe, man.
Always. Thank you. Appreciate
Great
you
to have
having me. Yep, holla at you.
Anthony Cowan, man, another homegrown talent here that came to Maryland, did a tremendous job for Coach Turgeon and his basketball program. You know, we had two Terp basketball legends, man, Bruno Fernando, Anthony Cowan. I can't thank those guys enough for coming on. Once again, I can't thank you guys enough for spending a Friday with me, late night with Locks. We'll be back Tuesday, excited. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support you show. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We're out.